All right, good morning and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube, just Daf It. We have the honor of having my friend Shmuel Silver join me for a little bit. Daf Samach Ted here in Kesubos, number 69. Shmuel, tell the audience what you just told me.
Oh, Samach Tes is like the Sephardim. Samach
No,
Tes
you
is
told me.
Sephardim, right?
What did you tell me about the Superman?
Right.
How'd you forget? What did you say?
I said that Ben Zion is like Superman.
He said I'm like Superman. Why? Why do you feel that way?
You're right. I shouldn't have said that. I should say Superman is like Ben Zion. That's really. I'm sorry that I impugned on your dignity.
Thank you. But why do you feel that way? What do I do that's like Superman?
What do? You dress very nicely.
That's number one. I dress number nicely. Very nice. That's number one. What's number two?
Have a haircut.
What's number two?
Similar to his haircut.
I have a haircut similar to Superman. Yeah. What else do I do? I can see through walls. X-ray vision.
You could fly. You fly.
Huh?
You know how to.
I know how to fly, of course. I know how to fly. I don't fly when people are watching. I fly in the middle of the night.
No, I meant the Billy Zerim because he's always making new shiurim Ben Zion. He always has a whole a very refreshing attitude, and he keeps on doing it. It's
40 shiurim a week. No, that's pretty good.
That's
and we're putting out a new series. We have a new series yesterday. Reactions to Mishpacha magazine of the week.
Very nice.
You know, and Shmuel will be featured in the second video. I'm going to be putting out. Hopefully by the end of the week, we'll have that out.
That'll be the final edition after I'm.
No, that's going to take off. That's going to go viral. I'm telling you, with Shmuel, that's going to go viral. There you go. It's going to go viral, Shmuel.
Really, Menzion is our Superman.
And Shmuel had a great idea. He said I should buy it from Amazon, I guess, right? A Superman costume and wear it on the shiur. I got to do that, Shmuel. We're going to do that. We're going to do that. That's a great idea. I really like that idea, Shmuel.
Purim time, maybe Purim time. Maybe
Purim time? No. Every day is Purim. For me, my wife, she asked me, my Rebel Productions, my logo is, like a clown. It's a guy with one of those clown hats, like a jester. Why do you have that? What is it, Purim?
That's what
I said. For me, every day is Purim. Exactly.
That's also. But who said that? That there's a stock. What do you call it? A company that gives you. What is it called? What do they call them? They always have a picture of like a clown. What a jester. You know what I'm talking about?
Who? Company? What company?
No, they give you advice. They advise you on stocks, which stocks to buy.
Oh, the Motley Fool.
The Motley Fool. Right.
Right. That's true. So
don't
listen to the Motley Fool because they're clowns. But that's true. That you shouldn't be listening to me then. I'm a clown. But the reason I put that in, I'll tell you the reason for my trademark like that is because, some people consider me a rabbi. Some people don't consider me a rabbi. So I introduced myself on my channel as Ben Zion Lang, now without a rabbi. I don't have smicha. I'm not really a rabbi, but because I give a lot of shiurim, probably more than any other rabbi in the whole world. So, some people refer to me as a rabbi, Rabbi Ben Zion Lang, Rav Ben Zion Lang. And to that I say, yes, I'm Rav Ben Zion Lang with my initials, Reish Beis Lamed, Rav Ben Zion Lang, which in English transliterates into rebel. So, if I'm not a rabbi, I'm just a regular guy, I'm Ben Zion Lang. And if you want to call me a rabbi, that means I'm the rebel, which means I'm a jester, which means I'm not really a rabbi. So either way, I'm not really a rabbi. That's the whole point. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed Shmuel, the introduction. I enjoyed having you here.
Thank you.
And
we're blessed to have you here.
Thank you.
Yeah. You should have a wonderful year of Kesubos
to you. All the best to your family.
Samach Tes, I was telling you, has
what is
Tahor.
Sephardi Tahor?
Sephardim at the end of their name. They write Samach Tes, you know what I mean?
I didn't know that, really? They write it under their name Samach Tes?
I think it's
Sephardi Tahor?
I don't know what it stands for. I said Sephardi Tahor, but they write Samach Tes.
Who is the biggest Sephardi these days? Who's the most important Sephardi person in the world?
Rabbi?
Shalom Cohen passed away.
That's right. So there are a lot, I don't really know, but there are a lot of big rabbanim in the Sephardi community. I mean, he's the big Rosh Yeshivas,
Right.
What's his name?
Shmuel Sephardi also.
I'm a little bit Sephardi.
He's half Sephardi. Half Sephardi. Any of your parents Sephardi? Grandparents?
No, not really. I don't think so. We take more from remember the regular Eastern European
All right. The 5-minute mark has been reached.
Okay,
We will start
bye.
the share. Thank you so much, Shmuel. Appreciate it. That's a nice compliment. Call me Superman. I hopefully one day will have the Superman costume, wear it full regalia during the share. Let's start from the top of Samachtam and Aleph. Top words. Talalei Rav LaRebbe. Rav asked Rebbe the following Shana Beni Chiti. He wrote him a letter. In between the lines of the letter, I guess the letter was, "Hello, how are you? How's your life going? How's your wife? How's your kids?" He also, between the lines, he asked him, a halachic shaila, "Achin sheshibdu mahu." The brothers, right, that sold land or they gave their land as a collateral. Right, we learned that from the brothers, the girls are able to collect mizonos, food, and they're also able to collect their parnasa, which is what we've been talking about, dowry. We'll talk more about it in Iyun Ben Sion, exactly the nature of the dowry. So they put it as they sold it or they gave it as a mashko and mao. Could they collect from that? Haviyasi Reb Chia Kamei. Reb Chia was standing at that time in front of Rebbe when he read the letter. Amrlei machro mashkan omai. So when he read the letter, when he read it, Reb Chia asked him, there's two cases, right? If they sold the property or they gave it as collateral. Amrlei ma'inaf kamina ben machro ben mashkano. So Rebbe answered, it doesn't matter. Motziel parnasa and motziel mizonas. For mizonas, we learn you can't collect from mishubadim. However, parnasa you could collect from mishubadim. Mizonas, the reason they were misakin, you can't collect from mishubadim. Technically, you could, but mizonos is such an extensive cost that it applies for the rest of their lives. You always have to feed them, so no one will be able to live like that because everyone's going to just take away their land. The Rav, Rav, why did he phrase it in an ambiguous way? If he's asking about they sold land, if he's asking about the collateral, that's what he should have specified. Rav really was asking both of them. If I would just specify and wrote they sold the property, it would make sense if he told me, right, that they could remove the property. I would infer from that, or certainly collateral, you don't fully give the property to someone else. However, if he told you don't then I would still be left in doubt. What about if they gave it collateral? If I would have specified mashka, if I said that even by a collateral you can't remove the property from the mishubadim, certainly if they sold it, however, if he would have wrote to me that by a collateral they could be motzi, I still wouldn't know that halacha by makro. Echtav le shibdu the mash mahaki. I'll write shibdu, which is mash from both, and that's in fact what Rebbe said. He wasn't sure, so he told the halacha. In both cases, you can remove the property for the parnasa, for the dowry, for the girls. Rabbi Yochanan Amar, Rabbi Yochanan says, you argue on Rabbi. Similarly, argue on Rabbi. You can't remove the property. Ibailu. Rabbi Yochanan lo Shmiel had the Rabbi. Rabbi was a Tana. Rabbi Yochanan didn't hear what Rabbi said. Shmiel have a makabel. He would have accepted what Rabbi said. He was a Tana. Or Dilma Shmiel, or maybe he actually heard Rabbi's opinion of a makabel. He argued on him. Tashma de Itmar. Misha Meza hiniach shtei bonos. An Amoraic statement, and someone died. He left two girls. Ubein. Right, a good American family, two girls and a son. The kid Marishon of a Natla Yisrael Chasim, right? While the son was still alive, one girl collected, like Pipasal Rabban, you get 1/10 for your dowry. But speak of Shnia Ligbo, she didn't get married. Ad Shemei Sabain, the son died. So now the two daughters inherited the rest of their property equally. Amar Rabbi Yochanan Shnia Vitra. Rabbi Yochanan holds the second girl lost her ability to collect the 1/10. Now she got 50% of the property, but she doesn't get the extra 1/10. Amar Rabbi Chanina Gdola Mizu Amru Motzil Leparnasa Motzil Lemazonos. Chanina said, we know, meaning, he said even greater than this, right? You can take out Parnasa. From Mazonos, you can't take out from the Mishubadim. Ad Amar Shnia Vitra, right? If she can collect from Mishubadim, Kolshkin should collect from her own sister, from her own inheritance. V'misa, right? And if it's true, Nemole Man Amra, right? If he didn't hear what Rebbe said, he should have said Man Amra, right? It sounds like he held like this, and still he held like this. But Dimla Olam Lo Shmile, maybe really he didn't hear what Rebbe said, and if you heard Rebbe, you would have agreed with him. V'chishmile Kabil, if he would have heard, he would have accepted. V'shani Hasam Diko Revach Besa. The reason he ruled over here is she can't collect the 1/10 is because she has a lot of extra money. She's getting a Yerusha. She doesn't need to collect the 1/10. Amar Le Rav Yemer Rav Ashi. Rabbi says to Rav Ashi, she goes down the street. She finds $100,000 in the couch that someone gave her. Right? There was a story in Atlanta, Georgia, or something like that. They found $100,000, a Jewish guy, and he returned it to a non-Jewish woman, made a big kiddush Hashem. If it was me, I would have kept the money. The Ashkan Metzia Ba'alma, the Ika Ravach Besa, right? She finds a huge Metzia. She finds $100,000. She has Ravach Besa. Hachanami Lo Yavina Leiser Nechasim. In such a case, also parallel case, she shouldn't be able to collect Yisrael Nechasim if you depended on she has a lot of money. She doesn't need it. I'm like, Ana Ravach Besa Mahani Nechasi Kamina. No. She has a lot of money from this estate, so she doesn't have to take more from this estate. Metzia is something else. It's something extraneous, something not related to the estate. Amar Meimer Abbas Yoreshes Havia. He says a daughter is like a Yoreshes. Her 10th that she's entitled for a dowry is like a Yerusha, as opposed to a Chov, as opposed to a creditor. She's not a creditor. Amalei Rav Ashel Meimar. We'll see the nafkami in a second. Ilu boy l'sluki b'zuzi hakanami l'masi l'sluka. Because she's an inheritor, if the sons, right, her brothers say, we'll pay you off. We want this real estate that you're supposed to get for your parnasa. They can't do it because it's inheritance. Amalei you're right. He persists further, right? They want to give her one land, right? An inheritance, she has a right to a tenth in all the land together. They want to give her one piece of land. They can't do that. Amar you're right. They can't do that. Rav Ashi Amar, he argues, Bas Balas Chov Havia. She's owed money we'll see by who she's owed money. Even a Meimar went back, he retracted what he said. Amar Rav Minyumi, Breder Rav Nechumi, Hava Klim Nakamei Da Meimar. I was standing in front of Meimar, Vase Haisa Kamei. Havas Kaboy sister Nechasim. She was trying to collect her dowry, 1/10 of the Nechasim. Chazisi Ladaite. And I saw his opinion. I inferred from what I saw that if the brothers wanted to just give her money in lieu of her 1/10 in the inheritance, they're allowed to do it. I heard the brother saying to her, technically we don't have any money. If we had money, we would give you the money and we'd take the land ourselves. He was silent. He didn't say anything. Obviously, he held that was halakha. Now that we established that she's a creditor and she's not an inheritor, who is she a creditor from? Her father or from the brothers? What's the ramification, the practical ramification? The migba lebeinin is shlo b'shua v'ziboris b'shua. A balchov, right? If you're collecting from the person himself, so you collect. A balchov collects bein on this, right? And Ezekiel you collect idis. A balchov you collect bein on this. Kesubos collects ziboris. However, you collect bein on this and shlo b'shua. When you collect directly from the person you lend money to, the person that owes you money, you don't have to take a shua. But ziboris b'shua. However, if you collect from the children and inheritors of someone who owed you money, then you only get ziboris. And you have to take a shvu in order to collect. What's halacha? Tashma, the Ravina Agbe Leparti, the Rav Ashi, Ravina collected for the daughter of Rav Ashi, Mimar the Rav Ashi, Beinonis. Marbrei the Rav Ashi was the son of Rav Ashi, who was her brother, Beinonis, B'Shalom B'Shvua. So you see that she's a creditor of the father, because she was able to collect Beinonis B'Shalom B'Shvua. Mimbrei the Rav Sam, Brei the Rav Ashi. Now, Rav Ashi also had a grandson, the son of Rav Sama. Rav Sama died in the life of Rav Ashi. He left a grandson, Ziboris B'Shvua. I were to collect from him, so that everyone agrees you collect Ziboris B'Shvua because he's a grandson. He's not a brother. Shalach le Rav Nechemi B'Rei Rav Yosef the Rav Bar Rav Huna. She split collecting half from her nephew and half from her brother. Half of the brother was a collection from her father, and the nephew, her brother wasn't alive, so it's has to be viewed the son of the inheritor can't collect directly from the brother or from the father. It's passed down 2 generations, therefore half collect from Ziboris, half from Beinonis. Shalach le Rav Nechemi B'Rei Rav Yosef the Rav Bar Rav Huna Zuta min Harda Ki Asya Hayis Lekamach. He sent to him when a certain woman comes in front of you, Agba Yisrael Nechasim Afilu Mitzrubla. Take Yisrael Nechasim even from the millstone. The millstone is considered, we'll see, only from karkos, right? It's considered karkos because it's stable. It weighs a lot. Even though it's not attached to the ground, but you can't really pick it up from the ground. When we house Rav Kahana, rent from houses is considered karkos. Rav Anan sent to Rav Huna, my friend. He considered him friend. Shalim, peace to you. when this certain woman he sent to him, he said, you should collect for her as a dowry 1/10 of the estate. Now, Rav Sheshes Kameh, Rav Sheshes was sitting in front of Rav Huna. Amar Zil Emole Uvashamta. Go back, say to Rav Anan with the power of Nidoy, of a curse. If he doesn't listen, hey man delo Uvashamta, hey man delo Amar. Meaning, if you don't give this message to Rav Anan, I'm going to put you in Nidoy. Anan, when you said you should collect a 10, that mean only from real estate or even from movable objects? Man Yasiv Be Marzicha. You also asked him a second question: who sits at the head of Marzicha Baresha, the head of the table by the house of an Avil? We'll see that. It means Azar Rav Sheshes, the Kamei de Ravanan. So Rav Sheshes went in front of Rav Anan. Emle Mar Rabba Rav Huna Rabbe the Rabba. He said, you are a Rebbe. Rav Huna is a great Rabbi, the Rabbi. He's a rabbi's rabbi. V'shmuse shamis. He put a needle in Mandalo Amarle. If I didn't go and tell you this, v'lav the shamis lohava kamina anan. If he didn't put a needle, I wouldn't say it. Anan. So what did he say? Anan mekar matazale. Aman yasid be'marzicha baresha. Who sits at the head of the table of an Avel's house? They asked him these two questions. Azar Rav Anan kamei de Marokko. He didn't know the answer of Anan. He went to Marokko. Amalei chazi mar hechi shalachli Rav Huna. Rav Huna sent to me. Anan on marzicha the shalachli layadana. My new. I don't know the halachas in each of these cases. Amalei easy. Top of Samach Tenem Abayis Gufa Duva the Hahichi Hava. What exactly went down? What transpired in this discussion between Amalei Haki v'Haki Hava Maisa? Meaning he told him, that he referred to him as Huna, my friend, and he ended up not even knowing the answer to his questions. You don't even know what a marzicha is. He asked you what a marzicha is. Who sits at the head of marzicha? You don't even know what marzicha is. You have no right to call Rav Huna your friend. He should be your rebbe. My marzicha. What is marzicha? Avel. It's a mourner. The chsiv Komar Hashem al tavo beis merzach. Don't go to the house of beis merzach. And it's clear from this pasuk that's talking in Yirmiyahu is talking about the house of an Avel. Amar Rabbi Abahu, minayin la'Avel shemesa brosh. The Gemara answers the question from Rabbi Abahu's statement. The Avel himself, the mourner himself, sits at the head of the table. Shneimar evchar darcha meishev rosh eshkam kamelch bedur kasher avelim yinachim. Right, I'll choose the path and I'll sit at the head, like avelim yinachim. So the Gemara says yinachim acherim mashma. Yinachim means not that he's being consoled, that he's consoling other people. Sounds like the person who consoles other people, right? The people that go to Menachem, they sit at the head of the table. Amar Nachum Yitzchak Yenucham Ksiv. You read it as it's written as Yenucham, right? He should be comforted. It's talking about the mourner. Amar Zutra Amar Mahacha. He brings a different source. V'sar Marzach Sruchim. Mar Vizach, someone who's bitter. Vizach, Mar is composed of two words. Mar, he's bitter, and Zach, he's removed from other people. I mean, he's distant from other people. Now, says Sar the Seruchim, he becomes the head of the Seruchim, the people that are, not feeling good. All the people that are in the house of a mourner are not feeling good. He's a Sar, he's the head. Amar Rava, Hilchasam Mikakayvil Matatli, the halakha about the first Shaila, you only collect from real estate, not Matatli, Bein Mazoni, Bein Ksuva, Bein Parnasa. When you're collecting from Mazona, so like I mentioned, you can't collect from Matalton also. Bein Ksuva, to collect the Ksuva is only from Kos. And also to collect from Parnasa, which we've been talking about, the Isra Nechasim, the 1/10 of the estate, you only collect from the Karkos. We'll talk more about why this is so in Iyun Ben Sion coming up next. The Mishnah says, Mishalish Mos Labito. The Mishnah says, someone, Mashlish Mos Labito, his daughter's getting married. Now, when you give a dowry to your daughter, so there's different ways of giving the dowry. You can give the dowry directly to your son-in-law, or you can put it in the hand of a trustee in order for the future, right? If your daughter is young, or she's irresponsible, or the husband's irresponsible, you give it in the hands of the trustee. She, after they get married or after they get engaged, we'll see, says, my husband is trustworthy to me. I trust my husband. Meir says, you have to listen to the father, right? We don't allow her to take the money and give it to her husband. The money, technically, for dowry is supposed to be given from land, right? For real estate, to be able to live on the land, right? Or at least to collect rent from it. If she wanted to sell, she went to the trustee and said, I want to sell the land, she could sell them achshav. So certainly she could has the right, she could sell it, she can give it to her husband also. Medar Amurim, when do we say it's Vagdola? When she's above the age of Bar Mitzvah. She can't her words are meaningless when she's Ktana. She's immature. The Gemara says, Tana Rabban Amashish Mos Lechasno. He sets up his trustee to give a dowry to his chasen, his son-in-law. Likach mehen sadeh lebito. Presumably, he's using the money. He earmarks the money to buy a field for his daughter. They should live in. And she says, no, I don't want the trustee to hold on to it. Give it to my husband. He'll have jurisdiction. He'll do whatever he wants with it. If they're married already, we listen to her. Meir says, right, basically qualifying what is Mishnah. He only said what he said. When they're engaged, right, we would listen to her. Yossi says, if she's a Gdola, she's a Baba mitzvah. Even if she's engaged, we listen to her. Aktana doesn't make a difference. She can't do. We don't listen to her. She's immature. We don't listen to her, even according to Rabbi Yossi. My benai. What's the practical difference in Meir and Rabbi Yossi? The nafkamina is when she's underage and they're married. The Meir savar should be other. Meir would be makel and say you could rely on her and give the money to the husband. He says, even when they're married, you only listen to the Gdola, you don't listen to the Ketana. Ema Seifa, that can't be true. Say the Seifa of the Mishnah, of Aktana, in my Saktana Klum. The end of the Mishnah ends off, right? Aktana, we don't listen to her. Haman Katana, who's the author of the end of the Mishnah? If it's Rabbi Yossi, I'm Reish Shamas to you. You know, you already inferred that from the beginning of what Rabbi Yossi said. I'm Rabbi Yossi, V'cheina Ela Sadev, wrote on the Mokra. Right? The reason we listen to her, it's like a field. If she wants to sell the field, she could sell it. So the same right, she can the money earmarked for a field, she can give to her husband. Gdola the Bazavini in Tanadla Bazavini he low, right? Who could sell a field? The Gdola can make a transaction. Tana will make a transaction. Her transaction is meaningless. Ella Meir he must be Meir here. Certainly we have to we left out words in our Mishnah. This is what the Mishnah meant to write. The shlish should do what he was instructed to do. Medra Amurim Mina Erison. That's if they were engaged. Even a mayor agrees that once they get married, she's entitled. Medra Amurim Migdola. That's only about Agdola. Aktana, Ein Mai Sektana, Klum, Aktana, even in Nesua, we don't listen to her. El Agdola Mina Eris and Nikaminai. It must be the nafkamina is an overage girl, a girl's bar mitzvah. Or that means someone who's older. I don't know, 18-year-old girl. I don't know exactly what the definition of Agdola is, but she's an older girl. She's able to make rational decisions herself. After she's engaged, and she says already after the engagement, give it to my husband, that's the machlokes. Right? According to Rabbi Yossi, he says, even Mina Eris, as long as she's a Gdola, we listen to her. And Meir says, no, only Mina Nesuin, and only if she's a Gdola, then we listen to her. It's Bar Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel, Rabbi Yossi, follows Rabbi Yossi, that after the Nesuin, or even after the Erisin, we allow the Gdola to transfer the money to her husband. Rav Amar, Rav Nachman, Allah Meir, he passed the Meir that according to Meir only you need both. You need after these two and enter be a Gdola in order to transfer the money. Mina Erison, we don't listen to her to transfer the money. That'll be the conclusion of today's shir. I hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for Ian Ben Sion. We'll talk more about the ramifications of what we've been talking about in the last two daf about this idea of Isur Nechas, and we paskin on the Chum, and not like Rabbi Yehuda that she's entitled to 1/10 of the state. We paskin on this daf today that she's only entitled to get from Karkos. However, we also learned at the beginning of the daf that she's entitled to get from Mishubadim. She can collect from Mishubadim. We learned yesterday that if the father wants to cut her off and makes a declaration before he dies, doesn't want her to get Yisrael Nechas, he's allowed to do that. And we also said today that the father, she's a balchov for collecting the father. Normally, if you're a balchov, someone owes you money, they can't say, don't collect from me. I mean, so how does this all work out? Coming up, Ian Ben Sion. Next, you'll find out the answer.